Hello friends, my name is Vivek and you are watching my channel Engineer Vivek Gupta. So here I am starting a entire video series on professional photography. So as you can see here I have shown a picture clicked by me from my DSLR camera, and this is clicked in Manali. So this entire series will be based on the professional photography, and it will be divided in different chapters. So without wasting time, let's begin. And if you are new to my channel, please subscribe my channel and like the channel and like the videos, share it. So let's begin. So here is the basic introduction about this first chapter. So my channel name is Engineer Vivek Gupta, and the series name is Professional Photography, and the first chapter is related to types of cameras. Here you can see I have tried to show you different types of cameras which we are using in day-to-day life, or we can see in our surrounding that people are using these type of cameras. So there are variety of cameras in the market, and you can see the different people have different taste and they use different type of cameras. So going forward, you can we will cover these different topics in this chapter. So our first topic will be what is a camera, then types of cameras, most popular cameras, sensor type and pixel size, what is a photograph, why we capture photograph, buttons available in a DSLR. So these six topics we will be covering in this chapter, and at the end of the video I'm sure you will be know very much and very detailed knowledge about these topics and different types of cameras. So going forward, so for our first question is what is a camera. We all are wondering that why a camera is required and what is a camera, what is this device, and why it is created. So basically a camera is an optical instrument used to record image. So optical instrument means a light sensitive device. So camera is a light sensitive device which records the light on a sensor or a film which is fitted inside the camera body. So or you can see this like camera are sealed boxes with a small hole that let light in to capture an image on the light sensitive surface, usually photographic film or a digital sensor. So whenever the light falls on any object, it get reflected, and as we are seeing the world from our eyes, the camera also sees the things like that, and whatever the light coming to its sensor like our eyes, it records those light rays on in a form of a image. So here we will be talking about the different types of cameras. So first camera is the DSLR camera. So DSLR is digital single lens reflex. So it is a very common camera used widely around us. It has option of interchangeable lens. It has many options. Then we have mirrorless cameras. Mirrorless cameras are similar to DSLR cameras, but here's the difference that in mirrorless cameras there is no mirror or a pentaprism. The light coming from the environment directly goes to the sensor to create an image, but in DSLR cameras the light coming from the surrounding falls on a mirror that is reflected to eyepiece, and when we click the shutter button, then the mirror lifts up and that light falls on the image sensor to create a image. But in a mirrorless camera, the light directly falls on the image sensor and that creates an image. Then a point shoot camera, these are very widely used cameras, and they are very small in size. When we turn on these cameras, this lens pops out from this camera, and we can quickly click the image. So they are very small in size, like you can keep these cameras in your pocket also. Then we have smartphones. Smartphones are very common today, and most of the people use these type of devices to capture images. We have a wide variety of cameras available in smartphones. Then we have a bridge camera around us. So DSLR camera and bridge camera are similar to each other. Means uh, one by one, means DSLR are similar to bridge camera, or you can say bridge cameras are similar to DSLR. But here is the difference between these two cameras, that in DSLR you can change the lens, but in bridge camera you cannot. The lens is fitted in the body and you cannot change that lens. So this is the main difference between these two cameras, and there are other differences also, but overall you can say that a DSLR and a bridge camera are similar to each other. But in DSLR you can change the lens, but in the bridge camera you cannot change the lens. Here the film cameras are the popular cameras used in late 2090s. So these cameras have a film roll fitted inside, and each film roll has a capacity of clicking 30 to 35 images. And once the film roll is filled, you have to change the film roll. And once in these type of cameras there is a drawback, that if you by mistake click the image, that that image was recorded on the film roll, and you cannot delete it. So that portion of the film roll is wasted. So this drawback has been removed in the DSLR. These are instant cameras. So as you can see, here is a slot available at the below of this camera. So these cameras are used to quickly click the picture and print the picture at the same time. So these cameras are, most travelers use this, and they go to different places, they click the picture, and at the same time they take the printout of that picture. Then we have digital sign cameras. These cameras are widely used for videography, but they have the option to click the photos also. Then we have action cameras. These are cameras which are used by the bloggers and the uh, peoples who want to capture the action sequence, like racing and fighting scene and many more. So these are small in size. They are similar to the point shoot camera, but they are widely used to record the image. So they are very small in size. Yeah, they are also waterproof, shockproof. So they are also very popular. Now we will be discussing about the most popular cameras. So we have identified three cameras which are very common and very popular nowadays. So the first most popular camera is, the first rank goes to the smartphone. The smartphone cameras are widely used in the world. So because they are very convenient, very small, and you can carry these cameras to anywhere. No one restricts you. No one says that you cannot carry a smartphone. There are some places where smartphones are not allowed, but at most of the places smartphones are allowed. People can go take the pictures and videos. And the main benefit of the smartphone cameras are, they can fit in your pocket. You can click the picture very instantly, and at the same time, if you want to share those pictures with anyone, or on the social networking site or social media, you can quickly share the images on at the same time. Second rank goes to the DSLR camera. DSLR cameras are very popular nowadays. So they are also used to take images, and very commonly used worldwide. These type of cameras you can see on Discovery Channel, National Geographic Channel, BBC Planet Channel. And if you go to any tourist place nearby, you can see many of the people carry such type of cameras to capture the images. So they are very common, but you can say first rank goes to the smartphone cameras, then the DSLR, because DSLR are heavy, they are they need more attention to carry. Then the third rank goes to the action cameras. They are small, they are widely used to shoot the video sequence. So these are the three most popular cameras used worldwide and very common to everyone, and we all familiar with all such type of cameras. Then in this we will be talking about the sensor size and the pixel. So here I tried to show you some images of the sensor. So actually it is a rectangle size, but I have changed the resolution size of the image, so it is showing as a square shape. So the small device which is fitted inside the camera body, showing in blue and green color, this is a sensor, and every camera body has a different size of sensor. Means whatever the size of the lens, the lens has whatever the size of the lens, the sensor should be in comparison to that. So we can say the bigger the sensor area captures, the better quality. It is clear that if you have a full frame camera, it has the better quality than a crop sensor, or if you have a crop sensor camera, it will have the better quality than a smartphone, because a smartphone camera have a very small sensor size. As you can see, it has a very small sensor size in comparison to full frame or in comparison to the crop sensor camera. So I am telling here two things: the full frame camera and the crop sensor camera. What is this? So full frame camera is a camera which has a sensor size of this length, 36 by 24 mm. So whatever the camera you have, if that camera have a sensor size of 36 mm by 24 mm, then it will be known as a full frame camera. So these cameras are popularly manufactured by Nikon, Canon, Sony, etc. Then we have crop sensor camera. So in crop sensor camera, the sensor size is small from the full frame in comparison to full frame camera, and these cameras are also manufactured by Nikon and Sony and other manufacturers also. So in crop sensor camera we have two crop factors, 1.5 and 1.6. So 1.5 crop factor cameras are manufactured by Nikon and Sony, and 1.6 crop factor cameras are manufactured by Canon. So in this regard, you can easily see on the different camera websites that Canon cameras with a similar configuration as Nikon are cheaper in comparison to Nikon. Means Nikon cameras are cheaper than Canon cameras are cheaper than Nikon. But both the at the same time, if you compare the options available, the features available, you can see the features are similar. So where is the gap? The gap is here, the sensor size. The sensor size creates the gap of the amount. Means so Nikon camera has a larger sensor size than a Canon camera. Therefore the Canon camera are cheaper and Nikon cameras are little bit costlier. Similarly, smartphone cameras have the crop factor of 6.0, and they have very small sensor size. So you can see that the smaller the sensor size you have, the lower the quality. Smartphones compensate for tiny sensor via computational power. In 2018, a 1-inch sensor, 1-inch type sensor optimizes probably for top travel cameras. So here we are able to see that the bigger the sensor size, the better is the image quality. Smaller the sensor size, the image quality is degraded. But smaller the sensor size, the camera will be cheaper. The larger the sensor size, the camera will be costlier. You can easily see. And what is the crop factor? Crop factor means how small your sensor in comparison to full frame. This is called crop factor. So sometimes it is very helpful Like if you are using a 20 mm lens on a full frame camera, it the image captured by a 20 mm lens with a full frame camera, the image which you capture, it's captured with a 20 mm focal length. But at the same 20 mm lens, if you fit on a crop sensor body, like if you have fitted with the Nikon 1.5 crop factor body, so the focal length will change from 20 mm to 30 mm. So the image which you capture from a 20 mm lens from a crop DX body, it will be shown as a 30 mm picture, means 30 mm lens picture. Similarly, if you fit that similar lens with a 1.6 crop factor camera, so the focal length will also increase. So sometimes it is very helpful if you are shooting a wildlife, if you are shooting some sports photography. So this type of crop factor is very good at that time. But if you are shooting a landscape, so we can say the full frame camera are very good. Similarly, the smaller the sensor size, you get the lower the quality. Smartphone has very small sensor size, so images are very good. You can see most of the magazine front cover page or cover pages are captured by the smartphone. But there is a difference that the quality, and you will analyze those that quality once you capture the photo from a cell phone and from a full frame or a crop sensor camera. Now we will be talking about this image resolution or the pixel size. So whenever you are capturing any image, you first select the size of the image, like 1094 multiplied by 764 resolution. So what is this? So this is the number of pixels available on each side of an image. So 1096 means 109 number or 1096 number of dots in the length. And if you select 764 in the width size, so 764 block size. So each block is called a pixel. So I think I made it clear that what is a pixel. So each single box available on the screen or the single block, which is the single smallest unit of a screen, is called a pixel. So I have tried to show you how we can identify a pixel. So I have typed Apple on a notepad, and when I zoomed that to the top level or the highest resolution, so you can see there are small boxes are shown here. They are very small boxes. So each box is known as a pixel. When you see this picture on 100% resolution or the actual size, you cannot see the pixel, but as you zoom the image, you will be able to see the pixel. So better, more the pixel, better is the image quality. But in this regard, you cannot say a cell phone camera which has a smaller sensor size but more resolution will give the better quality than a DSLR camera. These are two different things. Bigger the size of a pixel, you can see the size of the pixel also matters. So the bigger the size of a pixel will give you more details than a smaller pixel size. So we will be discussing about these in later videos. So here I hope I have made clear the difference between a DSLR camera and a smartphone camera, because they have different sensor available in their camera, and the bigger the sensor, better is the image. And what is a pixel? You can easily see a small box or single unit or the smallest block of an image which captures the image is called pixel. So here, what is a photograph? Here's a question: what is a photograph? So a photograph is an image created by light falling on a photosensitive surface, usually photographic film or an electromagnetic image. Sorry, electronic image sensor. So here in the background you can see I have shown image, and in each of the page you will be able to see the different images, and image is created by the light falling on a photosensitive surface. So as we seeing the world, whatever the light falling on any object, when it gets reflected and falls in our eyes, we are able to see that object. Similarly, the camera works. Whatever the light reflected by any of the object in the surrounding and it is captured on the sensor of your camera able to see those objects only. So image is created by light, and lights falling on the image sensor. So why we need to capture a photograph? So people take pictures to capture the special moments of their life, time spent with their loved ones. Every picture has a story, so we are very well know that every picture has a story, and what is that story? Everyone has a different view, or everyone has a different intention to view an image, and everyone has a different story in their mind. So whatever the image you have captured with the story in your mind, it is not sure that everyone will be thinking same. Everyone has a different intention to see the story in an image. As you can see in this image, there are different mountains. The fog is flowing down below the mountain. There are different houses there are some fields, there are different plants there, and some clouds in the sky. So it is showing, giving a relief to eyes, and here it is showing a wide landscape. It is captured by me or through my DSLR. So similarly, what I am seeing in this picture, everyone has a different intention. Someone will focus on the mountain peaks or the snow which is fallen on the peak of the mountain. Someone will focus on the fog. Someone will focus on the houses available. So different people has a different intention behind seeing the photo. So every picture has a story. So what is that story? How we will get that story, or how we will read the intention of anyone? So a best tip what I can share with you: whenever you take a picture, do not delete that picture. Most of the time we click the picture, we instantly see that picture in our camera screen or the cell phone screen, and if we see that the intention what we are thinking to capture, it is not captured actually in that scene, we quickly delete that picture. So it is not a good practice. Whatever the picture you click, do not delete those pictures. At the same time, back to your home or back to the hotel or back to your place, review those pictures, and I'm sure you will be able to see the story behind those pictures. The first time when I clicked this picture, I was not feeling good by viewing this picture. I was thinking that it is not a good picture, but when after some time when I reviewed this picture, and I showed these pictures to my family members, my friends, so they told me the story behind these pictures. So and then I will be able to understand why every picture has a story. So it is my tip to you that whenever you click a picture, do not delete the picture. At the same time, keep those pictures with you, show those pictures to as more people you can, and try to understand the intention or the mindset of viewing any photo by everyone. Then you will be able to click a better and a very dramatic photo. While some take pictures as a passion, or they want to show off their photography skills in front of others and share them on social networking sites. So there are different mottos and different intentions to click a picture, whatever your intention is, but click your photos. And here we are here to help you how you can create or take a better picture with a better story. So moving next from this, we will be discussing about the different buttons available in the camera. So every cameras have similar buttons. Maybe they are positioned at some other place, but that is not a worry point. But you will be able to see the similar buttons on each and every camera. Starting from this image, from the top view, we are able to see this ring which has on and off written on it. So if we shift this ring a little bit right, this on will be shifted to this arrow and the camera will be turned on. So this is on off button. In middle of this button, this circular button is a shutter release button, which is used to capture the image. This is exposure compensation button, so you can brighten the image or darken the image through this. This is info button, so it will help you to show the info of the image. This is image recording button. You can record this is movie recording button. You can record the movie from using this button. This is a AF assist lamp. This will help you to autofocus in the dark or in the light also. Whenever you autofocus, it helps to autofocus. This is mode dial, which has different modes available, so we will be talking about different modes in later series. For now we will be stopping this to this, that this is a mode dial and it has different options. The 5 holes on the top of the camera, as you can see here, these are speakers. This is hot shoe. It is used to connect your external flash or external mic to the camera. And this sign shows the focal length marker, and it also shows the location of the image sensor fitted in the camera body, and also it is used to measure the focal length or focal distance of any object from the camera. In this side view image, you can see these holes are showing the microphone. This is the lens release button. By pressing this, you can quickly release and reattach the lens. This is a function button, and this is used to change the ISO setting. This is a flash button which you can use to turn on and off the flash. This is camera branding. This is a retraceable lens barrel button, which is used to change the focal length by rotating the focal ring by pressing this button. And now talking about the back view or of the camera. So this is the LCD screen which is used to see the image which you have captured. This is the command dial which is used to change the settings like shutter, aperture, ISO and exposure compensation, moving from one photo to other. So it has different options at a different setting. Means whatever the command mode dial option you have selected, it will act according to that. Then this is a multi selector through which you can move left, right, up, down and OK. This is a delete button. This is a release button which is used to select the option that whether you want to quickly shoot a picture or you want to shoot a picture at a delay of 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 5 seconds, 10 seconds, And also you can select here that if you want to select a single shot or a multi shot. This is a live view button which is used to turn off the eyepiece and project the image on the LCD screen. This is information button which is used to show the information of the image. This is a zoom out button. This is zoom in button to zoom in any image. This is menu button to change the different settings of an image or the camera. This is playback button which is used to review the photos. This is eyepiece of the camera which is used to see through the eyepiece to capture an image. This is viewfinder adjustment dial. Through this we can adjust the viewfinder. And not at but last but not the least, this is AEL and AFL, means auto exposure lock and auto focus lock button, which is used to lock the exposure and the focal focus which you have set. So it is a very important button, and we will be talking about in this button in the later series. But it is a very good button, and once you hands on this button, it will help you to capture very awesome pictures. So well friends, thank you for being co-part of this course at this point of time. I'm sure I have cleared many of the things, that what is a camera, what are different types of cameras, what is a sensor, what is a pixel, why we need to capture an image, and what is a photograph, and different things. So at this point of time, I would also like to tell you a story about a smartphone and a DSLR, because in the video I have told you that smartphones are the most used cameras in the world. Most of the people use smartphones to capture the image. DSLR are the second one. But where is the difference? So I want to tell you a story that when I was thinking about to purchase a smartphone or a camera, I was not sure. I was planning to purchase a iPhone. I have a XY budget, and I was thinking to purchase a iPhone. So I have a friend in my office, so I discussed the same with him, and I asked him that I want to purchase an iPhone player, so suggest me what is the best iPhone what I can purchase from this budget. So the first question he asked me, that why you want to purchase an iPhone. So I told that I'm going to some trip, and there I want to capture some pictures. Also the smart iPhone will be helping me to use as a cell phone, and many more options will be there. And most of the at the top of it, it will be used to capture the images. So he told me that if you want to capture images, so don't waste your money in a smartphone or an iPhone. Purchase a DSLR camera. It has different photographic level. So I am not able to understand what he was talking about. So he helped me clearing this doubt by showing some different pictures he clicked from his iPhone. Also he showed some pictures of the DSLR camera which was clicked by his some of the friends. So by viewing the different photos by the smartphone and the DSLR camera, he told me the difference. He told me the sensor size difference, and many more things. And after discussing the things with him, I was sure that I should not waste my money with the iPhone. I should go with a DSLR camera, and then I searched for a better DSLR camera in my budget, and I purchased a DSLR camera. And I am sure friends, if at that time I purchased the iPhone, I was at the right. Currently I am not feeling well, means I will not feel well, means by going with the opinion of my friend, I'm very happy that he showed me the right way, and he helped me not to waste my money with any of the device which is not worth to me. because in DSLR camera we have options to change the lens. In DSLR camera we have options to click a photo on different settings, but in smartphone the biggest drawback is it has a smaller sensor size, which all compensates you with the image quality. Also you cannot change the lens, whatever the camera features and the specification you have to work on that also, or work with that also. So there is a wide difference between a DSLR camera and a smartphone. So whatever your opinion is, whatever you like, I am not saying that you should go with a DSLR camera or you should go with a smartphone. Whatever your opinion is, you can see different videos on it, and whatever your opinion is, whatever you like, and whatever you're planning about to purchase, what is your planning to purchase a smartphone and a DSLR camera, first ask yourself that why you want to purchase that one. If you are purchasing an iPhone to click images only, then it is my opinion, don't go with iPhone or any smartphone. You can go with different DSLRs at the same price. So again I am saying that if you want to purchase an iPhone, it is your personal opinion, and if you want to purchase a DSLR, it is your personal opinion. We can only help you to understand the difference, but whatever you want to purchase, you can go and purchase it. So once again, thank you friends for being part of this course, and we will meet again in the next series of this course, and our next chapter will be based on the camera features and functions. Till then, I have a challenge for you, or you can say a homework in the comment box. Please tell me what type of camera you are using. I am repeating, in the comment box, please tell me what type of camera you are using. So because I am asking this question, because it will help me to drill down the camera which you are using, and what I will help you with the most efficient ways to capture the awesome pictures with the camera which you have. So please comment in the comment box that what type of camera you are using. Either you are using a smartphone, DSLR, mirrorless, and anything. So thank you friends for being a part of this course, and we will meet again in the next course. Thank you.